What's up, guys? My story of porn addiction, part 3. Let's just get into it. Here we go.
First gaze, I forgot my worst days. It was Thursday, felt like my birthday. It was her day. Meet the man from Jersey. Where you from?
What's up, guys? Piece of the Puzzle here, and I hope this piece gives you peace. Piece of the Puzzle is a platform for people to get a piece to the puzzle, a revelation directly from God to help you get the bigger picture. Whether it's getting information from other people of just like mindsets, or most importantly, from God Himself, a revelation so you can have a closer and better relationship with God. This is Piece of the Puzzle. I'm Mr. E, Minister E, and all you want to call me, but call me E. Alright, so everything that I say on here is pertaining to me focusing on a certain audience. Audience is me continually expose myself with my porn addiction that I had, that I'm trying to share with others that are going through the same thing. Or you might know someone going through the same thing, or you might be a parent of someone going through this, or you might be a child that might have a parent going through the same thing. How about that, son? So the whole point is this. This is me continuing my story. And I just want to be an open book, show you that you are not by yourself, you're not alone, and things you might experience might not be as crazy as you think. Alright, so before we go, subscribe, hit that button, hit the bell so you can hit every time I put an episode up, you're going to get that notification sign. And at the same time, you can see other links at the bottom where it takes you to my other social medias. And there's links in the bottom so you can see the books to get to purchase my book off of Amazon. Book Volume 1, Volume 2 about sex, to give God's original intent behind sex. And no, it's not a shame thing, but it's a more so just letting you know what it was all about, why He did it. And then the third book is going to be about women. Women are not queens. Who are they really? Who are they really? You know what I'm saying? And we're going to discuss that. So if you're a woman, go get that. And if you're a man, go get that. You know what I'm saying? So at this juncture, I am now going into high school. And pretty much porn is a part of my life. Daily routine. Might have skipped a day here and there. But pretty much it was what it was. And became a functioning addict. Meaning, when I got to high school, whatever, and because of that era back then, it's not like today in the sense of kids being stuck home and not going anywhere. So as I played football, I wrestled, and I ran track. And those activities is what kept everything prevalent to my life and what I'm trying to do. All right, so when I got into high school, it was a whole nother era. I'm not a freshman, and guess what I see? Girls, 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 girls. And at the same time, I'm now at this juncture not going to church as often because everything in the household is now just got so used to what it was. All right, so I wanted to be this now. I'm just now becoming, like you said, a functioning addict. So yeah, I was in high school. I had, like I said, our friends was national phenomenons, and there's a lot of people I got in the mix with that I shouldn't got in the mix with. One friend I particularly got friends with, and then we ended up getting a situation where I lost my car. My first car, crashed it. And then the next situation was, I remember me and my boy Charles, we actually bumped heads on a situation that happened pretending at the mall. And then me and Charles weren't cool for like maybe a good year and a half or something like that, whatever the case may be. And that's when I start smoking a little bit of weed. Now, I'm not smoking a lot, but I could count how many times I smoke weed. And this began to have effect on my mind since also dealing with marijuana. It got so crazy that, I don't care what people tell you about marijuana. Open up your brain, makes you think. Man, marijuana it takes away your education. I don't care who say what and what's meant for a certain anxiety as medicine, dealing with MS, whatever case. At the end of the day, it messes up your brain activity. Whatever. Alright, so I remember going to school, and the word of, I was writing a paragraph in school. And when I came to the word of, man, of, God, OF, I forgot how to write. Now, I'm a person that grew up, my mom saying big words, stop procrastinating. And even my friend at the time used to get on me like, man, why you speak with so big words? And come on, man. And that's who I was. And it got to a point where I was actually writing in class. And when I came to the word of, I forgot how to spell it. And I really was like, of. O-U, sounded out V. Of, U-V. In that whole essay, I wrote of as UV. My teacher pulled me to the side and be like, man, I know you smoking. I know you doing something stupid. Stop it. Cuss me out. And that helped because I then saw where I was at when it came to my education. So anyway, keep going. And I am now more focused on girls. So the whole point of me being raised by this porno, thing, whatever, I'm more sexually driven. I'm more excited about going to school and messing around, probably like, playing around with girls' private parts and stuff like that in the middle class. I was not so much, I had good grades, A's and B's, without even trying. I really could have been a straight A student, honors class. So learning was not hard for me at all since I was little. And I was still drawing, going to art class, this and third, whatever, right? So, and I was in activities, I was outside, boom, boom, and I was active. So it became a part of my life, but it had me be more sexually driven. I was sexually driven. I really could have became better at track, but I just ran track to run track. So I was good enough to be on the relay team, but I ain't put my whole heart into it where I could have been better. Like, you know what I'm saying, playing football. I could have been better if I put my whole heart into it and I focused on the plays and third, whatever, but I like the fact that I had the jersey on, walking around in school. I like wrestling. I was real good, 135, and I was only one of my classes at third, whatever. That's why I got this little scar. If you can see it on my face, whatever, because me and my homeboy Carmine, he was wrestling one dude, I was wrestling one dude, whatever. We was called Preacher Man, because he's the one that go around and talk about the word or God or something, whatever. And we bumped heads a little bit. I had a scar face, and started calling me Scarface. And I was a wrestler. I did that for 3 years. And then I was doing that. But I liked that because I start seeing abs, I start seeing my muscles, I start whatever. And then when we wrestled, used to wrestle in one room. They used to have the heat up or closed, and we used to be in there sweating. You know what I'm saying? I know how that sound. Get out of here with that nonsense. This is back in the day. The day stuff ain't got nothing to do with the day. I ain't gonna say. So, but yeah, so it was more driven to like, oh, look at me now, this and third, whatever. And I said, like how girls looked at me as I was gaining muscle, as I ran track. I ran track because of the girls that was on the track team, son. And I was so like, oh, look what they got on. And then when they ran, and when they had the starting line, that position. And I was gone. Everything I did was driven by this. Thus, I missed so many opportunities because I was not guided. But one thing was guiding me was this thing. Now, God was prevalent in my life because I had particular people that had some type of relation with God that was my friend. And for some reason, God, I could see in my life how he kept me. He was my father. Even though my father died and I had other male figures that I could look at, and then I had the street male figure that kind of gave me some tough love, if you want to call it, but really borderline abuse. But at this juncture, I really had seen God in my life from hindsight. My thing was, but everything I did was sexually driven. All right, and that was my driven force to get up, to look good, work. And I was working at McDonald's. I was making money. You know what I'm saying? And this is going through have the dances, homecomings, this and third, whatever. And so school is ending. Junior, senior year with the proms. Me and Charles got cool again. You know what I'm saying? I had my car, Charles had his car, and I remember one time he was going out to Philly, this and throw whatever. Here it go with exposure. Again, as I'm getting more and more exposed to stuff, to know there's more out there, there's nothing teaching me principles to guide me through this world of chaos. So, but the only thing that's guiding me, that's staying consistent, is this porn. And because of that, I am now, when we got together, he started going to the club. I remember we used to go to this club called Chrome in Philly. We used to go to South Street, walk up down the street, whatever, try to get numbers, this and third, whatever. And after South Street around 10:30, 11 o'clock, we went to Chrome. We got down. This is like every weekend. We was out. All right? And I went to Chrome, and I saw other women from other states, college night. And I'm like, what? Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Cut on the charm, this and third, whatever. And me and Charles had our principles, boom, 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 and we was cool. But again, I was driven by this sexual force inside of me. And I was almost graduating. My brother, he was busy with a female he was dealing with, which they got married at one point, and they got divorced later. My sister had kids coming. I ain't had no kids, or whatever. And my mom worked hard, but I also dealt with loneliness. Now, I dealt with loneliness pertaining to the point like no one in my family ever came to see me, like sports, track, football, or more so wrestling, track. Those are the main two things I did. And no one ever came to see me, like far as family people that I looked up to, or like my mom. She worked a lot, but she was like. And then I think my sister came to one she came to one match, and I appreciate that, whatever. I mean, my mom, she came to pick me up from practice, from track. She saw me, how I ran. She's like, oh, man, you got real great form. I felt good about that. But I knew, I kind of noticed that I wasn't celebrated. So guess where I got any kind of fascination with celebration? Porn. Everything. So I'm not even learning how to celebrate myself. I'm not learning how to regulate myself. I didn't even know that much about college. I didn't know nothing about goals, visions. I was just existing. And there was nothing that will, and the reason why I was about to go to the military or go to college, whatever, because it was more access to older or other types of girls. You know what I'm saying? Charles went off to school, but before that, we about to graduate, and the week that I was going to graduate, messing with the mother of my kids at this time, we just met, and it wasn't even that serious. We was just, messing around when we could. We used to call them butt buddies. You know what I'm saying? Type thing. And it was just me and her, and I got a phone call, boom, or a text. I forgot how it came. Pregnant. I was like, oh, why? Because the things I did with her, as far as going, you call it raw, is something I took a chance on because of scene I saw before I did it. Thinking like, try there and go raw. And what was a fantasy on screen became my reality. First son was here, and me and her was dealing with each other, and that was rough to deal with each other because it wasn't based on no real relationship, friendship. And me and my mom bumped into it, whatever. We got in an argument. I was tired of the nonsense I was dealing at home. Feel like nobody cared. Feel like nobody was there. And it's like everybody was doing their own thing. So thus I felt lonely. But you know who was there all the time? But it was affecting my brain where it was taking away feeling anything. What happened was I said I'm leaving, and I wanted to go move in with who? The one I was pregnant with. And my mom took the car that I had. It was a black Nissan Altima. And we moved in. My mom was make sure you go to school. I make sure I go to school. I went to school, make sure I graduate. Oh, and then I found out that she was pregnant. My bad. We moved in, and then I was driving to school, whatever. For my sister's car was like a red little hunchback. And then that's when I moved. I found out she was pregnant. All I knew was go to work. I was working at McDonald's. I started when I was like 16 years old, and I've been there for all these years. I was a crew chief, the only crew chief in New Jersey. Because my manager said, like, she wanted to make me assistant manager, but she said, you got to grow up a little bit. You got to show some maturity that you can separate yourself from other crew members or whatever. Crew chief. And I was crew chief. And I left there to go get better jobs because I want to make money. Thus, I ain't think about college, nothing like that, whatever. Now, don't get me wrong. My senior year, I was going to college and high school at the same time. Because high school, I was going there half a day, and then I was paying my own way through college, and I was taking classes. So when I got out of school at 11:30, I went straight to college. Me and the mother of my kids, we met the prior year at McDonald's. She came in, had green eyes. I was like, ooh, who that? Little Puerto Rican sexy young thing. Ooh. Friend of mine that was working there introduced me. Then we didn't see each other. A year later, I went to college. That's when me and her met again, and that's when I was driving my mom's car for a little bit, then I got my own car, stuff, whatever. I was driving a van and all that good stuff. So then, after that, I graduated. She was pregnant. We were living together, and this is now, I don't believe children are mistakes, but it was unplanned. And when you don't plan things out, if you do not plan your life, the life around you will plan it for you. You don't want that. I tell to my kids all the time, either y'all work this out on how this is going to handle, how y'all clean this room. I'm not telling y'all to do nothing no more. This is what I want done. This is my expectation. Y'all talk to each other. If y'all can't work it out, then I'm going to come in and I'm going to work it out for you. But you're not going to like it. See what I'm saying? So when you do not plan your life, it's going to plan for you. You know what I'm saying? A little key. Anyway, and that was it with that. And then and I was still watching porn. Even living with her. It was times where I said, hey, you know what I'm saying, leave the room after even messing around to even watch porn. She knew it. So the insecurities I might have put in her at that time and stage of our relationship is crazy. And it was normal to me. I thought this was normal and all that good stuff. So at the end of the day, that's where we stood at. I'm now leaving high school, got a kid on the way, still with a porn addiction issue. Now I'm with somebody, and then we broke up. It didn't work out. I moved out to my brother's house. I'm now 20 years old, and here go another level to where this was taking me. All right. And one thing I want you to take away from this, that when you do not guide your life or let God guide your life, you're misguided. And this is what thing that I taken what I lacked, and I'm so sensitive to see misguided people. So I want to help them so much because I know what it's like not to have guidance, because I didn't. And I know the damage it could do. And with this addiction that I was dealing with, I definitely was fogged and things looked blurry because my perception was off, because what was driving me was wrong. All right. So see you next week. Peace to the puzzle. And I hope this piece give you peace. Peace.